Hey everybody, it's Roundabout Driving School here with Coach Lisa, another session of live learning. We're going to talk about reverse stall parking today. So that is one of the most feared subjects in my car, but it's really quite easy. I'm going to show you a couple of formulas that should help you. So in our parking lot, first of all, let's talk about where do we belong on the road. So just like any other road space, we are going to stay to the right. So we're going to keep right and the other side will keep right. Sometimes, most times actually, parking stalls will mirror each other. So these lines will match up to the lines across. That's not always the case, but in many cases that is the case, which does come in as a helpful little tool when you're doing reverse stall parking. So there's a couple of ways you can do this. So there's the back around method, which case I would take my car to 2/3 past the stall I want. So if I look at this car and he's fairly centered, if I kitty corner my bumper with his front bumper, and I'm almost past him entirely, so 3/4 of the way, 2/3, then that's a pretty good place to start. Before you start backing up, of course, you're going to 360 check. You're going to have your right signal on so people know that you're going to do some backing up. And you want to do that signal as soon as you're starting to pull forward of the stall that you want, just so that people behind know that you're going to do, you're going to do something. And you want to put it into reverse quite quickly as well so that they see, okay, this person's backing up. I'm going to hold my position or go around or whatever the case may be. So we've signaled, we've got our backup lights on, our reverse, and we're going to back around this car into this stall. Now it might seem to you that if you start way up here and you're going way over here, that's not going to work. You feel in your head that you're going to back into this car. But your car's turning radius really is, it's not that tight, so you do need the space. It's always better to start ahead versus too far back, because when you're backing close to this guy's corner, you can, rest assured, I guess, that you're not going to hit the guy beside. So it's harder on your blind side to see where you're at than it is to see on your good side here. So from this spot here, I always start my car in motion a little bit because it's better for your steering mechanisms and your tires to be in motion before you steer. So just a little bit of movement, and I steer all the way right away to the right. So when you're backing up, you want to think about where is your back end going to go? Where do you want your back end to go? So I want my back end to go into the spot, which is on my right, so I'm going to steer to the right. So as you're backing, you want to use the side mirror here to really help you kind of see where you're at with that guy. And if you're figuring that you might be a little tight in here, you can just unsteer a little bit. So just back it off a quarter turn, and that will widen your arc, and your car should land pretty fairly close to center of that stall. However, if you find, again, that you're too tight, you can unwind it. If you find that you've overshot a little bit, then you can stop rather than cross this guy's line. You can stop here and pull forward and then pop it back in straight. So you don't want to cross that line. You don't want to get too close to your neighbor on your left side. So, you can always pull forward and do a little adjusting before you back it in. But this generally works as a formula. So 3/4 or 2/3 forward, kind of line up your bumper with that fellow. Depends a little bit whether, he's centered or not, because that does make a difference. And it also depends on what kind of vehicle you're dealing with. If you have a big, long truck that's bigger, square, and protruding a little bit, it is going to feel tighter when you kind of come past his corner. But as long as you're, looking in this mirror, looking behind you regularly, don't forget to check your blind side for people that might be going around you, because your car is swinging out this way when you're backing in this way. So pretty easy. If you go slow, you really look You're not going to put the blinders on and start going back and hoping for the best. But it's really not that hard and not that scary if you really take your time. And just practice a little bit, like going into a big parking lot and doing like the squiggle down, you know, the middle of the lanes just to get familiar with backing, or doing figure eights is another really good exercise to help you feel comfortable with steering while backing. And the biggest thing is to look where you want to put the car. So put your eyes in the middle of that stall, and your hands really will do the work for you, and steer just the right amount as you go if you're careful. So there's some backup pointers for you. It's not an exact science. It depends on a few factors, but just take your time and really, really look around for traffic and for your space.